How would you introduce yourself to someone you just know? In case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He introduced us himself Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That's why before every surah in the Quran, we recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most kind, the most caring, before Al-Fatiha, every time. And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to convey us is that He could have said other qualities, other attributes, but He starts with mercy and mercy and caring. And before anything else, know me is a source of mercy. And there's a hadith from Prophet ﷺ. He mentions, none of you will enter Jannah by deeds alone. And when the companions asked, even you, Prophet? He replied, yes, even me, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala covers me with His mercy. So that teaches us that we are not saved even by perfection or actions, but our connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His mercy. And this should give us a lot of hope that we don't have to be perfect, but we have to try our best on this path. So like we discussed from the previous, we have to come up with a story about who we are, our life journey, and more importantly, why we want to bring Quran to our life. So in that effort, I wrote a book. It's called Deen Dunya Dilemma. You can read about it. We'll share in the comments. But that book was inspired with a beautiful analogy by Imam al-Ghazali when he gives an analogy of the body being a vessel, like a vehicle. In our modern day technology, I adapted it as, imagine it's a car. Your body is a car. If the body is a car, what about mind? Mind is like if you're sitting in a car like a computers, like if you're saying like something like Tesla, it's a whole engine, the brain is telling you what to go on, all these things. That's the thing is called the mind. And what about the heart? Heart, I'm not talking about the physical heart, but a spiritual heart. If the spiritual heart, it is, as it's in the Quran, it's a shining light. While it's filled with Iman, it shines light to show you where to go. And then we talk about the soul. What is soul? What is the ruh? In this context, Ghazali says the soul should be the driver driving the car, right? And in this context, what about Salah? With Salah, we understand like a spiritual GPS, showing you where to go. 5 times a day we are checking in and making sure we are going. And what about the Quran? And the Quran should be your companion. The passenger seat and showing you where to go. Once you understand this analogy, once you begin to adopt it, you understand that it's not just it's not just something nice to have, but a must-have. Anybody who went on a long journey understands and knows going on a journey with some companion who is guiding, who is kind, beats everything else. As we discussed before, another part of the companionship is that as our bodies need food, the car needs the fuel, the soul needs this companionship, and that companionship is the Quran. And even sometimes you may say, oh, I may read the Quran, you may, but if the Quran is there and you are having a very chit-chat and small talk, it's not going to help you. You guys say, hey, how was the weather? Nice, where you going? There, how was the day? Fine. That's not why we are here. We are here to have a deep conversation with the Quran. We do that, and by understanding, by reading, by implementing it in our daily life. In other words, we call it tafakkur and tadabbur. Which brings us to today's verse, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most kind, the most caring. So let this verse remind you again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads with mercy. No matter where you are, no matter how deep you are in sin, no matter how hopeless you think you are, the door of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always open. Which brings us to today's dua. We say, oh Allah, you are the most kind, the most caring. Oh Allah, help us to make in this journey, our soul is the main driver, and our heart filled with Iman, showing the way. And let the Quran be our daily companion. This is your word. This is your light. So guiding us on this light, on this journey to you. And make our journey of meaning, journey of sincerity, and journey of gift, bringing a beautiful gift, how we live our lives to you. Ameen. Which brings us to our daily action. As usual, read one ayah before any salah you defined, and ask this question, what is this verse teaching me today? About Allah, about myself, and the last, but not the least, reflect and whisper. Alhamdulillah. And I will see you tomorrow.